Some bad news for Tesla stock, but nowhere near as bad as you might actually at first think. Oppenheimer's Colin downgraded Tesla stock from a buy rating to a hold rating, meaning he's not saying sell Tesla stock, he's saying hold. Now, also keep in mind that these price targets are always 12 months out, usually, which means fundamentally it is based on trading. It is not based on long-term investing like what Warren Buffett does. 20% yearly returns are good enough for me. I just look at Tesla's earnings and I look at the stock price, and I love the earnings compared to the stock price. Also, remember that there is no price target from Colin. This video you will want to watch in full. Here's important context. When we compare Colin's performance from 2011 against S&P 500, he outperformed S&P 500 by almost 40%, and that makes him number 12 on all of Wall Street. But here is some very important context. You see, even since 2011, only 51.5% of Colin's transactions would generate a profit. But when these trades do generate a profit, the profit is huge. And even with Tesla, only 65% of Colin's ratings were successful, although the average return has been absolutely outstanding. Colin was on TV today, so let's see what he has to say.
Let's bring in Colin Rush from Oppenheimer. He downgraded Tesla on Twitter-related risks after naming it a top pick for 2023 just last week. So what's going on here?
Yeah, and it's about rebuilding trust. I mean, for us, what happened last week is that the share sale was one element.
Like I said many times before, insider selling the stock, never a positive sign. It doesn't mean it's a negative sign, but it's never a positive sign. And it also doesn't help, literally, when every single time Elon sells, the stock just drops. Elon sold the stock so high here that you can't even see the arrow here. But let's not forget, after the CEO Performance Award, Elon will have over $100 billion worth of Tesla stock still. Elon is incredibly invested still in Tesla stock. And for all we know, Elon could literally be selling Tesla stock to exercise Tesla stock options. So literally, he could be selling Tesla stock to buy more Tesla stock. But as a Tesla stock bull, long-term bull, I do agree with Colin. This is not a positive sign when an insider sells the stock.
And I don't think we were surprised to see him sell a few more shares to fund this endeavor.
Me neither. I thought it's more likely that Elon would sell Tesla stock again. I said this on November 15th. And if you're a new subscriber, I said this on October 28th. Urgent warning from all-in Tesla stock investor. And on August 15th, I told my brother, which is when I made this video, sell Tesla now or many years later.
But really, the engagement with journalists and banning folks without consistent methodology around who was getting banned and why, and the application there was really a problem for us. You know, for someone that's working towards free speech, from his own words, but really doing some damage to his brand and doing damage to not only his personal brand but Tesla, which is inextricably linked to him.
How Elon has been running Twitter is actually exactly what makes Elon such a wildly successful entrepreneur. You see, within Tesla, we don't see Elon's screw-ups publicly because only a few people know about those. So it appears when he's running Twitter that he's doing things differently than in reality. I would find that extremely hard to believe. If anything, probably Elon maybe is doing things less like Elon, perhaps because everything is just so much more public. I mean, everyone does have some second thoughts when everyone else is literally watching. So here are a few things that surprised me personally. But again, this kind of behavior is what made Elon extremely successful, and an ability to change your mind so quickly like Elon does all the time, in public as well, And then, of course, huge backlash. And this is not the first time this has happened. This happened many times before, where Elon just U-turns very quickly. Here's where I was very surprised, personally. We will start right here. This is what I expected when Elon took over. This was my assumption. My assumption was that Elon is going to have some sort of content moderation council with widely diverse viewpoints, just like he said here, and that he will not involve himself in any politics in a very, very major way. That was my assumption. So this was my expectation. And I'm not criticizing Elon here because remember, changing his mind so quickly, even if it's in public, is exactly what made Elon so successful, and that is why Tesla is so successful. So this is not a criticism. I just want to make that clear. We are just observing why Tesla is so successful, and one of the reasons is how Elon does everything. But sometimes it creates a lot of negativity and a lot of backlash. So we are just observing here. Elon said earlier, no major content decisions or account reinstatements will happen before that council convenes. We now know that did not happen, and that was quite a surprise for me. Just like it was a surprise to me that when I bought Tesla stock in 2019, it went up more than 10x so fast. That was a surprise as well. I mean, it was no surprise that it went up more than 10x, but it was a surprise that it happened so fast. Here's another surprise that I had. When Elon purchased Twitter, I was quite convinced that Elon will immediately make some sort of rule, will let everyone know, will give everyone notice, maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even up to a month, no more than a month. He will make a rule, and that rule will apply to this account and this account that was tracking Elon's jet. If it still kept tracking Elon, would now violate Twitter's terms of services, and therefore would now be banned. But he said, my commitment to free speech extends even to not banning the account following my plane, even though that is a direct personal safety risk. I thought when he said that, that's a little bit, well, I admire the commitment, but that's not something I would ever do. I mean, literally, you're putting yourself in actual real danger to be assassinated. We now, of course, know that the account that tracked Elon's jet has been suspended, and literally there is a very good reason, by the way, why it was suspended. I mean, literally, a crazy stalker climbed on car hood as that stalker thought it's Elon in the car, but it was Elon's baby X, Elon's son. If I was Elon, I would be absolutely outraged. But in the first place, if I was Elon, I would have banned that account a long time ago. I would have announced rules. Here are the rules. You can't track people's jets and post it here on Twitter, or you will be banned. You have 1 week to remove all of your information, maybe max 1 month, and then you will be banned if you keep doing so. But this is where I really respect Elon. He posted this poll, should I step down as head of Twitter? I will abide by the results of this poll. The poll ended, it said yes, Elon is going to step down. And Elon can change his mind so quickly, and he doesn't feel sorry for himself, or he doesn't seem to really be stuck in this conundrum. Like, oh, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Oh, let's just do it. That is exactly what made Tesla so incredibly successful. And am I upset with Elon? Not at all. I mean, look at this. He said it. Please note that Twitter will do lots of dumb things in coming months. We will keep what works and change what doesn't. Obviously, some mistakes have been made. And that is literally the fastest way to get things done. You make mistakes and then you move forward instead of not doing anything. If Elon would have been thinking everything through, I don't think he would have bought Twitter in the first place. The only issue with this whole situation was that the account was banned before anything was officially announced. I learned about the story first from the mainstream media. We learned that the account was banned in the morning I think Elon might have posted something earlier in the day, but it was after the story broke out. So action first, explanation later, which is perfect, by the way, when you run Tesla. It's much more effective to just get the things done instead of telling everyone, hey, look, we need to do this and this and this, and this is what's going to happen. Elon doesn't waste time talking about what should happen. He just makes it happen. With Twitter, it's a little bit different, however. And here's why none of this is a criticism directly to Elon, because he has learned this lesson very clearly now. Going forward, there will be a vote for major policy changes. My apologies. Won't happen again.
And so for us, seeing that was a bridge too far. And as we go forward, obviously he has some work to do to rebuild that trust for us, rebuild the trust in the brand and the mission that Tesla's been on in terms of climate mitigation and evolving better solutions for people through technology. And we need to see a lot more work from him and that company to get back on board here.
Right, but I want to be clear. You're still positive on the fundamentals of Tesla. So I guess if he were to actually abide by this poll and say, all right, I'm done as CEO of Twitter, would you change your rating, or is it going to take a while for you to get that so-called trust back?
It's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, we continue to see Tesla as well out in front of peers. We've talked about 2 to 3 years of technology advantage. We think it's actually a little bit longer than that. It may be as long as 4 to 5 years.
The fundamentals of Tesla stock are staying strong. The earnings are strong. So, to me, looking at this, I don't see much of a change. Even if you argue that there is an actual brand damage, I think all of that is going to be restored, even if there is some. I mean, just check this out. You have to take this into context, that these numbers change. The sentiment can change quickly. You can see that it used to be only 33% of people liked Elon Musk, and only 82% knew or have heard of Elon. I think this is in the US specifically. And I don't think it would be too hard for Elon to recover, especially if Elon takes a step back and doesn't make himself this public or this visible as he has been until now with Twitter, if he steps back as Twitter's CEO and hands over this position to someone else. Then he can call the shots from the back without being visible. This is what I would hope and expect that he would do.
And the challenges around EV are really around material science, and those are long, hard problems to solve, and we think Tesla has done a tremendous job around that. Additionally, they have a massive data advantage around AI for self-driving vehicles, and we think they're continuing to extend that lead.
Full self-driving was the main reason why I stayed invested even when Tesla was at the all-time highs. But now the stock price is so low that it's not just full self-driving that I believe is going to drive stock higher up before the end of 2030.
But really, the brand and the backlash from consumers is substantial at this point. And certainly the foray into Twitter is not helping that brand. And as we go into a period of time where we see more competition and folks have more choices because we've been supply constrained for so long on the EV side, we think there's some real risk around what that means for Tesla. We continue to be a little bit conservative versus our peers on units for 2023, but we'll see how this plays out. And we think that a lot of the competition is going to struggle here. We're seeing pricing increases from a variety of folks, including Ford, just in the last week. And we think Tesla has a tremendous technology position, but really rebuilding that brand, the trust and the premium that they've gotten from that brand is going to take some time.
Tesla's brand will be just fine. How do I know? Just take a look at this. Even the Nazi Volkswagen. Did I say that? Yes, I did. Why? Because that's the truth. Look at this. Nazi Party forms a new state-owned automobile company then known as, I'm not going to say all of the words, but it's Volkswagen. It's Volkswagen. Okay, Volkswagen. People buy Volkswagen cars like nothing happened. I haven't seen anyone talk about this at all. If that's not a problem, why would this be a big problem? Also, let's not forget that Volkswagen is in this perpetual scandal over Emissions cheating. No one literally cares. They pay the fine, and that's about it.
So when you do talk about brand damage, have you calculated it? Quantitatively speaking, how does that bake into your downgrade today and your estimate for the stock, at least in the near term?
It's still very fluid in terms of what that looks like. What we're looking at is sell-through on the vehicles, and we're seeing shortening lead times on specific vehicles. We've gone from having a 6-month lead time to, in some cases, a couple of weeks in certain geographies, and that's where you start to see the potential impact on earnings is really about that pricing and their ability to lever, availability of supply into higher prices. And as they see some of that availability change, the price leverage becomes diminished, and so I think we're going to see it here more likely in the first half, and we expected some of that. And we take a pretty conservative view on pricing, a solid 8 to 10% below what's being advertised on their websites. But as we go forward, we can see some of that eroding, and certainly one of the things that we're watching for is incremental marketing spend. The company's really been pretty impressive in terms of their ability to sell a lot of vehicles without spending a lot on marketing, and really next to nothing. As we see them, if we see them start to spend on marketing, we'll know that they have a demand issue, and that's going to be a real problem for the stock.
All right. So again, to be clear, you're citing those reduced lead times and other things you just cited as supportive of your backlash from consumer contention, right? I mean, you don't have specific data beyond that, though.
It's really hard to collect the brand data and what that is. There's also anecdotal evidence that we're hearing from talking to folks, but really the actual data takes a while to emerge in terms of what the real brand value is.
Okay. Colin, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Particularly on a day where you obviously downgraded the stock. Colin Rush from Oppenheimer.
Look, if literally one of the worst governments ever in existence of history, the company that was founded by such a government, Volkswagen, if this brand can recover and flourish, although they may go bankrupt, but we'll see. But if no one, I haven't heard anyone ever in my lifetime saying, "Oh, Volkswagen, I'm not buying that car because it was founded by Nazis." I have literally never heard anyone say that ever, and that's a fact. One thing I like about America is we love a rags to riches story, but you know what we love even more? We love a redemption story. When someone goes on a tour and explains their mistakes, and now this is what we're going to do. Every time he goes on a podcast, it's a record hit. And now I think it would be that the podcast would have even more views. Do you think that would not result in more sales of Teslas? So even short term, to me, really, this is not an issue at all, unless Elon is not willing to go on podcasts and get tens of millions of views, do a video with Mr. Beast. These videos get a video with Mr. Beast and Elon Musk. That sounds like a 100 million view video. Mr. Beast has said before that he would love to, I think, collaborate with Elon Musk or something along these lines. And look, these videos, they get a crazy amount of views. I think brand damage is something that we need to worry about once Tesla gets to about 10 million vehicles per year. I mean, if the Nazi-founded Volkswagen can then get to 10 million vehicles per year, and no one cares that they were founded by the Nazis, this is a non-issue, meaning for long term. Short-term traders will make a big deal out of this, and this is going to be a talking point for them. But we are talking long term. Colin gives 12-month price targets. He doesn't give 10-year price targets. And these are 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. My name is Matt. Post this, like, and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.